add one resolution?
Yeah.
All right.
Want me to turn to you after I get?
Yeah, I mean, here's what it is. We have a, they realized late on Friday that we have a traffic light West 7th and Clinton Avenue that looks like it's about to come down.
Okay, so you mentioned it, and it'll be 19,128.
It's for Gen Electric for $10,704.
It'll be resolution 19-1.
You ready, Amy?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 18th agenda meeting of South Plainfield Mayor and Council. This meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting being provided to the borough's two official newspapers and also published on the borough's website. Amy, will you call the roll, please?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Here.
Councilman Dean?
Here.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Here.
Councilman Bash?
Here.
Councilman White?
Here.
Council President Willis?
Here. Thank you. Can you take us through a review of tonight's agenda, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This evening, we have the release of a performance bond posted by Tommaso Grasso. We have two matters on for executive session. One is contractual and one is personnel. We have the approval of council minutes for March 4th. We have the informational session pertaining to the community pool. We have two proclamations on this evening. We have one ordinance on for first reading by title. We have 14 resolutions on this evening, but I believe we
Yes.
have the additional one.
Yes, Mayor, we'd like to add an additional resolution awarding a contract to Gen Electric for $10,704. It's for the traffic signal at West 7th and Clinton Avenue, which I guess has a pretty severe bow in it. We have to get out there ASAP.
Okay. Can I get a motion to add, I guess it'll be resolution 19-128 for Gen Electric in the amount of $10,704.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Council President Wolak, seconded by Councilman Dean. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
And Mr. Mayor, we have 5 matters on for correspondence, payment of bills totaling $366,756.78, council reports, and we conclude with public comments. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And everything's in place for Tommaso Grasso, Block 254, Lot 15, correct?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Any council comments on agenda items?
None, Mayor. No.
Any council comments on the release of the performance bond tonight?
None, Mayor.
No.
Nothing, Mayor.
We have representation for Tommaso Grasso, Block 254, Lot 15? Okay. At this point, we'll open it up for public comments regarding the release of the performance bond. This is just for the release of the performance bond. Seeing none, close the public portion. Sir, that'll be on for tonight's agenda. You are more than welcome to stay if you want. It's never happened yet.
Don't run out so
There you go.
fast.
Have a good evening. Can I get a motion for executive session, contractual health benefits and personnel police?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Faustini, seconded by Councilman Benjavanga. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, at this point, we'll open it up for public comments on agenda items only. Seeing none, close the public portion. At this point, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's agenda
moved.
meeting.
Second.
We are adjourned. Seeing no reason to delay, we'll go right to the public meeting. Again, this meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting also being provided to the borough's two official newspapers and published on the borough's website. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll once more?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Here.
Councilman Dean?
Here.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Here.
Councilman Bash?
Still here.
Councilman White?
Here.
Council President Wolak?
Here. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Councilman Dean. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, please watch over this council and give us the guidance and wisdom to do what's right for the borough of South Plainfield. And please keep our emergency services in your prayers and watch over them as every day. Amen.
At this point, once more, we'll open it up for public comments on agenda items only. Seeing none, close public portion. Can I get a motion to approve the council minutes of March 4th, 2019 agenda, public and executive?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman White, seconded by Council President Wolak. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fostini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Council President Wolf?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. We're going to go a little bit out of order here. We will have the informational session for the community pool, but we'll do the proclamations first. First, honoring the South Plainfield High School cheer competition, or competition cheer team. We have a proclamation for the South Plainfield High School competition cheer team, and whereas cheerleading encourages and promotes physical fitness among our nation's youth, and whereas cheerleading provides a great foundation for building strength, flexibility, and fitness, and also life skills, enhancing self-esteem and goal-setting abilities. And whereas the South Plainfield High School competition cheer team, for the first time in 21 years in the program's history, went undefeated, taking 2 titles at States Group 2 in the local division, as well as placing second at the national championships. And whereas through extraordinary efforts, and we have each of you named here individually, and their fellow teammates were led by the dedication and hard work of their coaches through countless hours of practice. Now therefore, I, Matthew Panesh, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, on behalf of the Borough Council and residents, do hereby honor and congratulate the South Plainfield High School competition cheer team for a tremendous season and wish them further success in their future. Congratulations. Okay, so what we'll do is I will call each one of you up here. We have also a proclamation for the 4 coaches. The coaches can come up as well. We'll just ask you to come up behind the dais here, and we will try and take the photo like we usually do with a large crowd up here on the dais. Okay. Hey, you guys can stand up. I've got to sit in as I read.
I just want to say that's some great women's history, too, tonight. Goes with the next proclamation.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Brianna Slover. Oh, here. Rebecca Bloch. Brianna Crenshaw. Danielle McFarland. Zoe Lambert. Brianna Padavano. Alicia Vasquez. Mackenzie Serwick. Jenny Giannakis. Caitlin Luster. Isabella Safford. Zena Lambert. Jenna Slover. Alyssa Vella. And Angelique Weaver. Okay, coaches, Jamie Giannakis.
Testing.
Erin Klimchuk. Check. Gina Durso. And Aaliyah Watson. Okay, who wants to sit in this chair?
Yeah, I get the big chair. Where? Can I? Oh, yeah.
You're now the honorary spokeswoman.
Let's go. Take a picture of me.
Caitlin, we're gonna turn it over to you. You wanna say anything about this? You wanna say anything about this season?
Oh, I
Pull the
do.
microphone a little bit closer.
Go for it, Gabe. It was a good it was a good season. We worked really hard and we achieved a lot of things. That's pretty good.
Hold on, Caitlin, don't go away. So, since it's Women's History Month, the next proclamation is a Women's History Proclamation. Ask if you could just read that. Get everybody's attention.
So
Hit
happy
that
I
gavel.
got to do that. Is this a mint? Action.
Suburban Women's Club would like to accept. Go ahead, go read the album.
The whole thing?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic group background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our community, our state, and our nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And whereas women's history and an opportunity for us to recognize the influence that women have made in our nation and to honor these who blazed trails for women's empowerment and equality. Whereas the history of American women is an expansive story, outstanding individuals who sacrificed much and worked hard in pursuit of a better world where peace, dignity, and opportunity can reign. Whereas women of strength, vision, and character have long influenced our country by contributing their time, efforts, and wisdom in vastly diverse ways to improve and enhance our government and communities, our schools and religious institutions, our businesses and military, and the arts and sciences. Now, therefore, I, Matthew Bean Nash,
We didn't see that one.
Mayor in the Borough of South Plainfield.
Don't start now.
Okay. Do hereby call upon all the people I'm trying. Of the borough to observe throughout the year the many contributions of American women.
I would just ask if there's anybody here from Suburban Women's Club who would like to come up and
Is there anyone here from Suburban Women's Club that would like to
come and accept
come and accept
tonight's proclamation?
the nice proclamation?
She said music. Exactly. Who's crying? Every local competition takes in. No, we're not outies. Every single time.
Congratulations.
Yes. We outed them.
Yeah.
You can keep doing the rest of the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
She was so quick to sing that too.
That was a great job, Caitlin.
Caitlin for mayor.
What?
Caitlin for mayor?
Oh, yeah. Okay, at this point, we are going to turn it over to our Administrator and CFO Glenn Cullen, who will walk us through the informational session for the community pool. Democracy Week that starts tomorrow. We will give a brief 3 or so minute intermission. If anybody wants to leave, you are more than welcome to, and then we'll get going.
Glenn, you can't go. Yeah, you can't leave, bro. He ran away too. He's like, really? I'll see you later. You can't leave.
They were leaving anyway, so I might as well give them the option.
There you go. Just this one's good. Hey, Glenn, this one.
Bye.
Yeah. Turn the one in the middle
Bye.
on. Yeah, that's good.
You may want to move up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Glenn, we don't have one of those wireless microphones?
Yeah, it's right there.
Here, take the microphone.
Testing
It's for the TV, too.
for the camera.
Okay, I know there's a number of people here that have already seen this presentation. I've done a couple of them, and I think Christine's done some. John and Rob have been at all the presentations. For those who haven't been at any of them, and were maybe at our very first meeting, at that meeting there was a lot of questions about our pool engineer, and not to say that there was anything wrong with the pool engineer, but when we went through the process, we ended up picking out, we felt that we needed to go with a regular pool architect that would handle the community pool. And that's really where this comes from. It was Brandstetter and Carroll that was awarded the contract back in, I believe it was in early February. And this is where we are today. And to just give everyone a little background, the community pool is 52 years old. It's, almost doubled its life expectancy. And anybody that's been a pool member knows the water's always been cold because the well is always running, and there's just a myriad of issues, between the decking being a mess, and it's just on and on and on. I myself, although working for the town, I was very active with the Tiger Sharks for years. So anybody that has any questions, you could wait until the end. You can interrupt me during it, so that you don't forget, what you may be asking. And certainly at the end of the presentation, I'll answer whatever questions. I'll answer whatever, thank you, sir. I'll answer whatever questions you have. You know what it is? I'm trying not to block things. I'm not the smallest person. Maybe I should have let Christine do this.
Stand back. Stand over. Stand right here.
What's that?
Stand up here.
Okay. All righty. Stand right here. All righty.
We have information packets up here if anyone wants one that'll follow with the slideshow as
Oh,
well.
geez.
Right on the table up here.
Where am I on my slideshow here?
Just slip your hand up if you need one. Someone can bring it to you.
Yeah, where am I? Let me get back over here.
On the far right, right before the magnifier. Or double click on it.
Double click.
I did.
On the bottom. Bottom, you see where it looks like a little, right there.
Where am I?
Yeah, one over. One over. The other way, to the right. There you go. Right there. Yeah, click it.
I'm trying to. All right. Finally. All right, here we go. Sorry. All right, so we're going to run through a quick agenda. The conditions of the pool. We'll do a needs analysis. We'll show you what the recommended remodeling. Obviously, you can see I'm not an elected official. Recommendations and questions. The current conditions of the existing pool. As everybody knows, the wading pool, you just kind of fall into it. It's about 1.5 feet deep. It's been a hazard, I think, from the day it was built. The main pool return lines had to be replumbed over. I don't know, that had to be 8 to 10 years ago. It was supposed to last no more than 3 to 5 years. The main pool drains were removed long ago. The PVC liner for both pools have reached their useful life. As a matter of fact, last year, the liner that was put on in 2004 really started to disintegrate. The existing pool floor is in need of repair. That's a nice way of putting the floor of the pool is about 3 inches into core drillings, and it's supposed to be between 8 and 12. I can't really answer whether or not it's 3 inches because of the water table and the pressures that have been there, but I can just tell you what it's at now. Items to be reused in the presentation, the filtration system and chemical feed systems, they were replaced in 2015. They're still going to be available with the updated pool, so that wasn't lost money. The existing water slide we're going to be able to maintain, and don't get too nervous here about the bathhouse. The bathhouse, we're going to be able to significantly renovate it, but at least it's there, meaning we're not going to have to drag plumbing from all over. And there's some other pieces of the bathhouse, the way it exists, which we think are going to make us come more into compliance. So this is the pool that everybody's used to seeing. This was done actually prior to the installation of the green slide. Needs analysis. So this is just a marketing analysis that was done by Brandstetter, saying, we're roughly 25,000 people. We should have an average daily attendance of 2%. And then they have a discount for the limited facilities. What that means is we don't have all the features. All the people that think we're going to have, this huge spray park. It's going to be a nice park. Don't get me wrong, but it's still largely going to be the pool. It's going to be what everybody's very familiar with. They come to an average peak attendance of roughly 475 people. A couple of the things that I want to mention is the needs analysis that was done by the engineer said that a town our side should have roughly 9,500 square feet of pool surface area. We have over 12,000. With the remodeled pool, it'll be a little less, but it'll still be over 11,000. So this is an example of a pool that I did a visit to. This is called the Ginty Pool, and I've learned a lot about pools over the last few months, and one of the things I learned was this Ginty Pool in Morristown had a lot of very, very similar situations as the South Plainfield Community Pool. It was originally a watering hole, and then I guess they probably threw in chlorine. Then eventually they decided, let's build a pool, and they had groundwater issues. The pool was built in 1968, and as you can see over here on the bottom left, it was really falling apart. The pool design company that we're using, they designed a new pool. You can see that over here on the bottom right, which includes this vortex here and a number of interesting features. Up here you can see they have these sitting walls. This person here is sitting in a sitting wall. They have the umbrellas. Over here you have the slides. So pretty neat thing. Oh my God. All right, there we go. Okay. So this is the recommended pool that we have. We're going to go through all really 4 main sections, but we've brought it out into the 4 sections are obviously the wading pool that everybody's used to, this zero entry depth pool, the lane lines, and the activity pool. So anybody that's looking at this is gonna, or the activity center or zone, I guess we call it. Anybody that's looking at this is gonna have a pretty good understanding of some pretty dramatic changes in the current structure of the pool. The wading pool. What you're looking at here is, over here is going to be zero entry, so they'll no longer be falling into the pool. This was the kiddie pool. Up here on the upper sides, these are, we'll describe it, Christine, splash pads.
Yes.
With a, believe it or not, a slide that actually comes out onto the splash pad so that the surface area of the pool itself isn't lost. So it's going to be zero depth. There's going to be a play structure with a slide, some spray features, and there'll be these water tables. A number of these pools went through a period of time where they included the baby pool with the main pool, and I guess the politically correct word is accidents. So when you would have an accident in the kiddie pool, it shuts down the whole operation. So now, if you have an accident at the kiddie pool, it's confined to the kiddie pool itself. So wading pool features. So these are some of the play structures that you'll see on top, the kids jumping up and down in them. This is an example of a slide. And obviously, these are some of the spray features on the pool tables that we would have on the sides. I'm sorry? Go ahead.
I just want to add, the play features at the kiddie pool area are very sensory friendly. So if you have children who are scared of water, they can kind of get introduced slowly. The kiddie pool we had, you kind of had to just jump right in 2 feet deep. This lets them, go at their own pace, and it is designed to be sensory friendly for kids who may have special needs as well. And being that it's zero entry, it's ADA compliant, and children of all abilities can play here.
Thank you, Christine. So next is, I guess, our main pool that everyone is used to. This is the area that has the stairs right here. And what this is here is an ADA ramp to make this ADA accessible. So you'll actually walk in like this is a beach feature. Over here, there's stairs. Once again, these are ADA compliant. So to go up top here, the new zero depth entry with ADA ramp feature. So this is the ramp. New tall dump spray feature. And what this is a slightly larger spray feature here in the beginning. And that's to appeal to kids that are older than the toddler age. They find something to play with, but it probably scares those that are toddler age, and it keeps them over in the baby pool. I don't mean to be so blunt, but I think that's part of what's happening separating the pools. So as you can see, the color of the blue is changing, and that means the depth is changing. So by the time you get to what's called over here a vortex, you're getting to somewhere in the area of I think it was just 2 feet? 2.5 to 3 feet. Yeah. And what this is essentially like a whirlpool, although it's not heated. It's a very popular feature. Over here on this side, these are sitting walls, I guess, for people to kibitz and everything else. You can sit and talk, and I'm sorry. So you can spend your whole day here kibitzing, and it slowly goes, as you can see here, another demarcation. By the time you get to what's called these shade structures here, you're getting to like a 5-foot area in the water itself. So you have benches here, benches over here, and you have some shade structures. So zero entry leisure zone. So this is the play structure. This is probably more likely the example of a play structure that we would use. This is an example of some of the different type of shade facilities that you can have. And I guess what I'm being told by a lot of the pool experts is, believe it or not, shade is some of the most demanding items in pool areas. Although you think people are going there for color and a lay in the sun, shade becomes a very big feature. And this is an example of the vortex. And these are the handrails for the stairs. Next is our competitive lap lanes. So anybody that was familiar with the old pool, the swimming lanes were vertical. They were north-south. They were too long. They were, I think it was 27.5 meters, was it? And they were actually too narrow. I don't think any of us realized the narrowness. So it didn't actually meet any regulations on either part. So now what happens is we have a slight separation from the main pool over here. This is those shade structures, but you still have an opening here, but you'll have the full 25-yard depth here. Once again, you're looking at an area that's 5 to 6 feet tall. There's this little island peninsula, which is over 10 feet wide, which enables people to, the scorer's table to still function, but the lap lanes will be open all day long. And when I finally back out of it, one of the things is when we're having a swim meet, the whole pool's not shut down. So in the past, if you had a swim meet, you couldn't use the slide. When there were dives there, you couldn't use the dive. Now that whole other area, which we call an activity zone, will be up and you could use it with no impact at all to the swim lanes. And then you can see down here, it's kind of like a rope. I'm sorry? Somebody's got a question. There you go.
Yeah, I always enjoy doing laps at the community pool.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, I'm reading here, the lap lanes can be open for longer periods during the day. Are the lap lanes going to be just for laps?
No, it's going to be open for everything. The one difference is you're not going to be able to do the full 50 meter. I mean, that's going to be the difference. It's not 50 meter. It's
Lap lanes, kids are going to be swimming across the lap lane, so adults really can't do laps going back and forth.
I mean, that's something we could do at certain times of the day. Do you know what I mean? Have like an adult time to do laps. I think we were doing that. I don't know how regularly. Not at all, huh? Before the pool opened was what I was told. Maybe we'd do it 11:30, let people in a little early. But I've had a lot of requests, so that's definitely something we'll consider. Is how we had toy time in the past, we can have lap time and have that section just for laps. Yeah. Yes, definitely something we can look at.
That would be great, because I know so much of the pool is going to be, for the children, which is wonderful, but there's still adults who want to do laps. And hopefully that, as you say, will be
Yep.
taken into consideration.
Absolutely.
So this is the fourth feature here. This is what we call our activity zone, our fourth area. Over here is the existing water slide. Over here, what's called as a open flume slide. And then we're looking at putting in these rock walls here on the bottom. We're maintaining the current depth, which is 7 feet. It had been 12 feet back in 2015. When the deep end started to buckle there, we ended up having to move the height up from 12 feet to 7. So here we go. So these are the rock walls. And you're going to see, although these rock walls are solid in color, they actually make the rock walls, and that's the flume slide. Let me see if I can go back here. All right, there we go. So this is the rock wall in clear. The rock wall, from what we understand, is one of the most popular features. I know we've gotten a lot of questions about this, but we're being told is literally one of the most popular features at all the pools. This is the open flume slide, which is a little bit different than what we currently have. I don't know if it'll be that big, but we're looking at having a flume slide. And I'm just going to go back to the rock wall. So you have the rock wall there, you have the flume slide, and you have our current, this would be our green slide. All three of them are going to be able to take place in that zone. So, whether we have 1 or 2 lifeguards, at the end of the day, the managers will assess what the needs are, but you're going to be able to have all those activities taking place, while the pool is open. Yeah.
So just with the rock wall, because there was some concern as far as the actual wall curves into the pool, so it's designed that as the kids climb up the wall that they fall back into the pool, and it's sectioned off, and there's lifeguards and stuff like that. So it's not like there's any possibility of them falling outside the pool. It's designed so that they fall back into the pool.
So the recommendations that we're looking at here is, and we've gone over this a couple of times, and this has been one of the main questions is, we've said to everybody, it's going to cost $20 a household. So everybody's saying, well, how on earth is it $20 a household? It doesn't make any sense. Well, if you take $20 times, there's a little over 7,400 homes. It's like 7,416 homes. You multiply that by 20 years, you get to approximately $3 million. So if we had to borrow the full, it's not 2.475 million, it's roughly 2.3. If you borrow that full amount and you extrapolate it over 20 years, that's how we get the $20 per household. They believe that by having these enhancements, just the operating costs, we should be at a break even. But we're saying we believe the conservative way to estimate this is that the capital and debt service essentially would not be covered. We have reason to believe to say there's a good chance it could be. When we opened up the library, they experienced a 180% increase in membership. The Ginty pool I showed you earlier, within 3 or 4 years, they were up over 70%. We haven't put in any of those factors. If we experienced anything like that, the pool would pay for itself. So this is what we're looking at here. This is the overall layout. Some of the things I didn't mention, the pool itself is scheduled to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 lights inside the pool. We're also scheduled to have some exterior lighting here. When I had mentioned comments regarding the bathhouse, we don't meet the ADA standards in regards to the amount of bathroom space. We believe that we're going to have to convert the current first aid room would probably become a family bath, and we're going to obviously need to renovate the whole pool house. One of the things that John and Christine and Rob came up with is we really need to have a different entrance into the pool. Currently, you park over here to the right, and then you have that long walk to the front. So really what the goal is instead of having a little bit of handicap parking here, the goal really is to have handicap parking right here, literally right outside what'll be a little entrance here. So you'll be parking over in the parking lot, you'll be able to walk right into the entrance. And that's it. So does anybody have any questions?
Glenn, why don't you have them come up?
We need the microphone.
Glenn, why don't you have them come up to the
Yeah.
How long would this take to accomplish?
We're being told it's gonna take about 9 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Yeah, if you use the microphone, then we can all hear the questions, and they'll.
No, my question was just how long would this whole project take? And you said about 9 months?
the build out is about 9 months.
Okay, sounds great.
Somebody else had a question?
I have to say, since I grew up in South Plainfield, you guys came a long way with the swimming pool. I used to swim in Veterans Park when I was a kid. But anyhow, my concern is, are you eliminating the existing pool?
Essentially, we're going to build a pool inside the pool. The old pool is really going to become kind of the exterior frame of the new pool that we're looking to build. So that's why, and between that and really the main issue happens to be the peninsula, but that's part of the reason why I said you're going from 12,000 square feet to 11. There's areas that we're actually building out and spreading in, but because of those changes, the pool is getting very slightly smaller. But one of the features, and one of the things I didn't mention is, part of the estimates of the cost, we do have, I feel that I'm white now. Part of the estimates of the cost, we do have I guess the engineer would say a dewatering plane built in there, so that the pressure from the water table in that area, they're going to have some type of, I guess, workaround, it under drains to relieve the pressure so that there's a dewatering system. Because I know that at one of the meetings, we had discussed, would it be better to have the pool in another area? Would that be cheaper? You wouldn't have any, you wouldn't have the parking, you wouldn't have the facility. I mean, that would exponentially change the cost. We're being told that all of this has already been done here. The easier thing to do is to just put a dewatering system in with under drains to relieve the pressure from the bottom.
Yeah, well, that's the best idea, keep it all confined in one area. But my concern is that, I don't know if you're aware of it, but where the pool is, that was like a retention basin from the storm drains from Park Avenue and some of the side streets. Now, we had to put a 3-foot concrete pipe, and that goes across that property behind the PAL building to feed that brook, which goes under Maple Avenue and out to the park. When we when we put the PAL building, we had to put that pipe in. And my other question is, what's the maintenance cost on this pool for the year? To maintain it with personnel and everything?
Well, there's a lot of things we're going to look at differently that we're previously doing. We previously were staffing, let's say, the we're staffing certain areas of the pool that we think would probably bring a management company in. So, for instance, the food service, the way it was currently being handled, that may change. There's a number of things that, we're working off of these estimates because we feel that the pool is gonna be so much different than it was in the past. To say that our staff is gonna be working the snack stands, I don't know if it's gonna be the case right now. So that's part of the reason why we're looking at this more as going forward. We think the pool is gonna be so much different, how it's gonna be managed in the future. But
Glenn, real quick, in the example with the pool engineer, with comparable pools to this one, the Ginty pool, et cetera, is estimating that the annual operational cost is $170,000, but that the income driven by the increased membership and whatnot would cover that operational cost. It would be the debt service that would be responsible.
I heard you say that this is still the framework for the pool, but I know that there's a lot of trouble structurally, so I assume you're going to gut and then just work within that framework?
I mean, there's gonna be certain areas there are gonna be certain areas that are gonna be fully demoed, and there's gonna be other areas. For instance, the walls, the core drillings have it roughly 8 inches. So the pool itself, there are certain areas that we're gonna be able to utilize, and there's gonna be other areas that we're not. I had mentioned about the pump house. The pump house, which would be over to the left, is gonna have enough capacity for this existing pool. It's only 3 years old. So, there's certain things that are going to be able to reuse, certain walls that are going to be ripped out, and, certain things that won't.
It's going to have a whole new floor, too. The flooring right now is only about, they said, on an average 3 inches thick. Should be about anywhere from 8 to 12 inches. So there will be a complete new floor, except for the one area where the slides are currently, because that section was done in 2014. So other than that, everything else around on the floor of the pool will be brand new. There's just walls that, some areas the walls are actually perfectly fine. Plus, it's got a new stainless steel gutter system that is going to be surrounding the entire pool, which will get better circulation flow of the water, and cleaning the water on top will be, you'll have a much better filtration system. So that's going to go around the entire perimeter of the pool.
Will there be, in this new construction, any way to keep the temperatures within a certain range?
We're expecting it to be
Gets cold in there, yeah.
Well, it gets
should
cold
be
in
better.
there. Well, you bring up 2 issues there.
Yeah.
One, it's going to continue to be fed by an underground spring. But 2, we're not going to have the water loss.
Right.
This past summer, we had enormous water loss. And those things are going to, enormous water loss. Anybody that's worked here at the pool knows they're throwing chemicals over the side because the pool house isn't able to work, function the way it's supposed to be. So all of that's going to change here. Somebody else back there I thought had a question? All right. Okay. Go ahead, Jake.
Are you going to have any outside attendance?
Yes. Yes. Yes, we will.
Is there a possibility that there could be more shade where people sit? Some of us just try and crowd underneath trees.
That's something we can look at. I mean, we're going to have the shade. You're going to see we have the 3 in the pool, but we're looking at having possibly a large shade structure over by where the picnic tables are, and maybe having one in one of the sitting areas. We know there's certain groups that only want the sun. So, we got to walk delicately on which territories we put those things in.
I was going to say, where the trees are, you don't really get grass, so then you're
Right.
seeing dirt.
Well,
Correct.
there's 2 shade structures there now, and we will move them. So we will, put them in another spot. And we were discussing, trying to put in additional shade as well. Yeah, shade is definitely important these days. Yep.
And let me walk this in back.
Just a question on the staffing again. You said they're going to be bringing outside companies in to work those?
No. You're going to have the regular staffing for
still have the town kids working.
Correct. You'll still have the town kids working, but we're looking at how the whole snack stand previously functioned and how it should function. So
Okay.
we're not sure if we're going to use an outside vendor that does the work, or if we're going to do the work ourselves like we've done in the past.
Okay.
But we think there's going to be some changes. I mean, you're going to be looking, the lifeguards are going to be our,
Right.
And I'm assuming they're even going to be our residents. We just don't know whether or not it's something that we want to do, or we want to have an outside organization do.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Okay. I've been coming to the South Plainfield pool since 1978 when I moved here. And one thing I always wished that when the kids go back to school and it's still hot as hell, that pool's closed. Is there any plans to extend the season maybe a little bit?
Well, we're looking at a couple of things. The one thing we're looking at extending is in July and August, in June and July, when it's light out so long, we're looking at having some theme nights, because we're going to have lights in the pool and lights on the decking. We're thinking about handling those days that way. We're looking at maybe opening a week earlier, and we'll certainly consider possibly staying a week later. It's something we'll look at.
Yeah, it's a consideration. It gets a little challenging because a lot of the lifeguards do go back to college, but it's definitely something we can try, and look at when we get there.
Some of those days have been so hot, I was willing to pay them myself.
Yeah, it's a good suggestion. We can definitely look at it.
Okay, great. That's it. All right, thank you. Oh, wait,
in the
we have
back.
one way here.
Two more.
Two more.
Did you already pick the contractor to do this?
No. What's happening now, this gets back to the question from the gentleman regarding the 9-month build-out. The vote starts, Amy's, tonight, right? Tomorrow, okay. Okay, all right. I don't know if anybody snuck in, all right. So, 8 a.m. tomorrow, the vote's going to start. What'll have to happen is, if it passes and everything goes the way, let's say, you as a pool member want, we're going to have to pay for the actual drawing and all the architectural stuff. This is really kind of a 30,000-foot concept, and that process is going to take over a month and a half. So that's why when I answered your question, I guess it should have been a little more direct. You're talking about 8 or 9 month build out, but you're also you're talking about another month and a half design. So we're going to try to have the design ordinance on for that April 1st meeting so that we can award the contract to design by early May, and it'll go out to bid, and then hopefully we can award construction contract by
Late June, July.
End of summer.
end of summer,
Yeah.
Late July,
Yeah.
sometime mid-August. Well, the plan is to get it done as soon as
As soon
possible.
as possible.
So we're hoping if we could start in August,
Yeah.
we'll get our 5 months in. But unfortunately, that's kind of the time frame that we're in right now.
Yeah, the engineer, when he was here at the one session, had said that we're in a unique situation because we have the opportunity where most pools don't have the opportunity to work during the summer. We should have an opportunity to work towards the end of the summer and begin construction, which will give us a head start over other pools. Most contractors will start demoing or working on other pools late fall when the pool closes, where we have the opportunity for them to get in right away. So they should be able to get started pretty quick and do a lot of the work before the winter. Yeah.
We would love to. If we have to have a special meeting, we will. Somebody else was back here? Okay.
Is this available online?
It's on our website,
Okay.
so it should be available online.
Okay, I had 2 more questions for you. With assumed increase in population at the pool, was there any noticeable impact to traffic or like a parking analysis done?
The parking's an issue. I wish I could give a better answer than that. I actually originally grew up on the corner of Avon Avenue and Clinton Place. So, that is really, a stone's throw from where I was raised. We're limited right now. And we looked at a number of items, And as of right now, the current facility that you see is what we have. I mean, we've looked at, is there something we could do with the front of the PAL building for some of the parking?
Well, one of the things, Glenn, is that once that parking lot is redone and striped, you're going to have a lot more efficiency with parking. Whereas now, there's no striping in that parking lot. So that takes up a lot of space when there's no striping.
We're looking at the design because the issue is, to just be very frank, right now, when you park across the street from the pool, you're backing out into traffic. And once we start doing major renovations, you're going to lose that lane. So it's a design challenge for us. And it's one of the things that we're looking at. I wish I could say it's going to be 1, 2, 3, but it's not. Anybody else? Oh, sure. No, don't worry about it.
Looking at the math, forgive me if I'm oversimplifying this. So roughly speaking, wishful thinking, pool plans go through would be $3 million. So it'd be $20 per household per year for 20 years.
Yes.
If things don't go through as planned, the alternative is, what I understand, about $1 million to remediate and backfill.
Well, here's the answer to that. Is what happens if we do nothing? What are the consequences of doing nothing? And I hate to use those terms, but if you're going to ask it, I'm going to say it. When we did the current activity zone there, we ended up putting in a whole new pump house. We ended up putting in we put the new under drains in. We ended up filling in that area from 12 feet to 7. We really made a pretty large, it was the first capital improvement to the shell since it was built in 67. So that was roughly $400,000, but that's principal. When you throw on interest, it's really $600 and some thousand dollars, like $676. So then you throw in the filling of the pool and everything. If it turns out we don't do this plan and we don't come up with some other type of pool alternative, to really just get it to be a grass patch, it's going to be net cost of it. It's going to cost you almost $1 million. It's going to cost you over $800,000 to just, if you're going to knock down because I'm assuming if you're not going to build a pool, nobody's going to look at the bathhouse anymore, and there's going to be some things you're going to need to do. So the circumstances are, and I think 3 members of the committee, the whole governing body, nobody wants to run around saying, approve this or it's going to cost you $1 million anyway. So I think we've really tried to stay away from using that type of
Glenn, I think
scenario.
I would say there's not a lot of if the Democracy Day were to go down, there's not a lot of opportunity to scale back the cost of this pool. In other words, the structures and stuff that aren't adding the bulk of the costs. So it's not like we're going to turn around and be able to come back at you 2 months later with another presentation and cut the bill, to 1.2 million or something like that. It's not going to be that drastic.
No, the bulk of the money was in the actual pool construction
Right.
or reconstruction itself. As far as the features and everything go, that was pretty significant less than what the actual construction of the pool and renovating everything else, bringing up the bathrooms up to code and all the other ADA compliance that need to get done with it. So it's pretty much what it is. Otherwise, we could build a pool and build it back to pretty much what it is, but I don't see that gaining us anything as far as membership goes
And not saving you much.
not saving you much, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's why I do math optimistically. I don't see it as a $3 million cost. I see it as an additional $2 million because you got to do something for $1 million anyway, right?
Correct.
Right.
Correct. No, you're exactly right. I mean,
Yeah.
the reality is you're asking for $1.4 million, but I don't think anybody wanted to,
No.
say those types of things. Any other questions? Going once.
Yeah, just to clarify what you just said before, if this doesn't go through, then it's going to be a grass patch.
No, well,
no, that's not. That's not.
Obviously, like I said, I'm not an elected official. What we're trying to say is we would go back to the drawing board, but using that as the extreme, if we really didn't do anything, it's probably going to be like $1 million. So The reality is to try to convert this into a park.
So,
To get back to your example, you're still going to be spending or costing the town $1.5 million maybe. Or
yeah,
something.
so Glenn, that's probably about $1 million to get it to something similar to a grass field, right? Then you need to figure out what you're going to do there. So if, let's say, some of us like to play golf. If we made it into a nice little 9-hole golf course or something like pitch and putt golf course, that's not going to be free, right? If we make it into tennis, whatever you make it into, whatever facility you make it into, then you'd have to add that cost on there. So
It'll probably all wind up to being the same
Same
number
thing.
now.
I'd say more.
But the bottom line is if it does go down for some reason, then the committee, Christine, Councilwoman Faustini's the chair, Councilman Dean and myself, we would sit together and we would have to brainstorm to see what the future of that facility would be. So.
Any other questions? Alrighty.
Okay. Now back to the regular business of the borough. If anybody wants to leave, we will take a 2-minute break and before we get on with the ordinances and resolutions.
Good job, Rod. Nice job. Yeah.
What happened?
I think he looks like somebody. I saw it earlier today. I'm like, so we do an electric batteries? And she's like, oh no. She's like, this. I'm like, this is. How many people, like, do we know what the number is in the library? 400 total votes? I'm just wondering. I know. And the funny thing is, we were talking about, you know, people that are complaining about it on Facebook. It doesn't even come to one meeting. At least come here and listen to what we have to say, not on Facebook, and you'll get it. Yeah.
You ready?
We got Facebook. Mr. Rizzo.
Okay, welcome back, everyone, for introduction ordinance 2129.
Ordinance that provides for the compensation of employees of the Borough of South Plainfield and the method of payment of such compensation for the years 2019 through 2023 for non-union and elected professionals.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for introduction on 2129?
Motion.
Second, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Benjavanga, seconded by Councilman Dean. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Council President Bullock?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Okay, item number 10, resolutions.
Yes, Mayor, can we separate 19-125?
Sure. Any other separations? Okay, can I get a motion for resolutions 19-114 to 19-124, 19-126 through newly added 19-128?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Council President Wolak, seconded by Councilman Dean. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Council President Bullock?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Resolution 19-125, can I get a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Dean, seconded by Councilman White. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Yes, Councilman Benjavanga?
Recused, they're my employer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fustini?
Yes.
Councilman Bash?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Council President Bullock?
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you. We have 5 items of correspondence. Environmental Commission minutes, July 9th, or I'm sorry, January 9th of 2019. Public Celebration Committee minutes, February 4th. Planning Board minutes of February 26th. Board of Health minutes for March 12th. And the Recreation Commission monthly report for March 2019. Can I get a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman White, seconded by Council President Wolak. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fustini?
Yes.
Councilman Bash?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Council President Bullock?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. On payment of the bills for $366,756.78, can I get a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman White, seconded by Councilman Benjavanga. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fustini?
Yes.
Councilman Bash?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Council President Bullock?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Mr. Rizzo, anything for us tonight? Thank you. Mr. Cullen, anything else?
You know, Mayor, I'll just mention a couple other things. We're probably going to push back the introduction of the municipal budget until the meeting of April 15th, just so that we have time to understand what happens here with Democracy Week and, you know, what the impact that's going to have in the budget, combined with we're going to have to rush an ordinance on for just the design portion of the pool. So, you know, we're looking at an introduction on the 15th. Administration and Finance met today. We may also have an ordinance on to establish a convenience fee for credit cards. I think that may be on for the next meeting, and we may have credit card machines at a number of different locations here within the borough. And I guess everybody go out and vote. So I guess that's what I was going to tell you. And I'll have my parents here at Borough Hall tomorrow. So
Just not tonight.
yes,
Not tonight.
with that progress.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Hadley Road Phase 2, we've awarded to the contractor, so we're going to set up a pre-construction meeting for next Tuesday. And then as soon as the weather breaks, we'll be ready to start that project. The other project we have in design right now is South 9th Street, which the engineers are working on, and we'll give you an update as soon as we get some bid dates for that project. That progress.
Thank you. Ms. Antonides.
Mr. Mayor, just that the clerk's office is all set to go for your Democracy Week election, starting at 8 a.m.
Good luck.
And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Bess.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. At the last meeting, Nancy brought up the issue about the pedestal. It was fixed the next day. Yeah, so it was incorrect. I don't know how the sign got turned, but they took care of it, and with that progress.
Good. Excellent. Councilwoman Faustini.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. A little bit more of, I think it's women's history, but it could have been different before I was here. This year, on April 13th, there will be a combined parade with the Ponytail and the South Plainfield Junior Baseball Club. So the guys and the girls are going to walk together from Roosevelt School to the baseball club, and they're kind of sharing the ceremony. So I thought that was great. Registration for the Easter egg hunt has begun. That will be April 20th at the PAL at 1 p.m. You do have to, well, you can show your ID the day of. You do have to be a South Plainfield resident to attend, or we suggest you pre-register at the PAL to make everything go easier and faster. Let's see, what else? Oh, there are some bags, bins to collect bags that the Girl Scouts have put at Borough Hall, and there's going to be one placed at the PAL as well. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day at the Senior Center. If you're a senior, from 11:30 to 2, you can join that party. And the library is introducing, the Friends of the Library is introducing a buy a brick. You can buy a brick for $75. You know, the specifics will be posted online, but I think that's a kind of cool thing to do. And you can buy a brick for the path up to the children's reading garden in the back. And with that, progress.
Thank you. Councilman Benjavanga.
Progress, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Dean.
Yes, Mayor, two things. the last environmental meeting, we discussed on that on March 30th is Earth Hour. It's going to be, it's been celebrated apparently since 2007. It's the last Saturday of March. The idea is to encourage fuel conservation to help fight climate change. So they're asking everyone on March 30th at 7 p.m. if you can turn off your lights for 1 hour to help conserve energy. So Allison said, you know, if we could announce that and everyone can help do that. And the other thing is with the pool renovation, all the meetings that we did have, I just want to thank everyone for coming out to all our informational meetings. You know, Saturday we had a breakfast with the mayor with the senior center. A lot of people had, you know, a lot of concerns, and I think everything was addressed the best we can. And hopefully the vote goes, you know, for the pool, because I really do want to see it saved for everyone that's, you know, we've all been born and raised in this town, and, you know, at some point of our lives utilize the pool. So it's a staple in our community. So hopefully it goes that way and we can continue to save it. So I just want to thank everyone for coming out and listening to everything that was done. Everybody's put a lot of work into this, and, you know, Glenn and everybody else that, you know, helped out with this as well. It's, you know, hopefully we go that way. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilman White.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say to Councilwoman Faustini, Councilman Benjamin, Councilman Dean, and Mr. Cullen, I thought that I've attended most of the presentations. I thought you all did a great job explaining the information, making it understandable. I know a lot of work went into the decisions that brought us to the point where we had a rendering and things like that. So I just wanted to say thank you personally as a resident of town and person who thinks that the pool adds a great deal of added value to our community. I just wanted to say thank you. Also, I just wanted to let everyone know that Ulta will be having their soft opening, Ulta Beauty will be having their soft opening starting this Friday, March 22nd. I think they'll be opening at 10 a.m. and their grand opening will be March 29th. Okay, so they'll be open. They're stocking the store currently, and it's going to be a frenzy from what I understand if it follows anywhere along what their previous grand openings and soft openings have been. So stop by and check them out over at Hadley Mall. With that, progress, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President Wallach.
I'd just like to thank Councilman White and Councilman Benjamin for helping us get the new ambulances getting ready to get purchased, and as well as Mr. Cullen and Chief LaFair. So I'm glad that we got that going. And with that, progress.
Thank you. At this point, we'll open it up for anything on your mind. Ms. Lepore.
Suzanne Lee, Bullard Place. Just on behalf of the Cultural Arts Commission, I just want to remind everybody that we have our talent show set for this coming Sunday at 3 p.m. at Wesley Methodist Church. All are invited to attend. Unfortunately, I guess you guys are not doing something for the show.
It might be a late edition.
Well, you keep saying that. I haven't heard anything.
Yes, I told her we didn't have anything firm yet.
So you're not in the play.
I'm trying.
So, and then also, unfortunately, at the same time as the Earth Day moon thing or whatever it's called, we also have our mystery dinner at 6 p.m. Doors open at 6 p.m. at the Senior Center. The show is actually going to start at 7, so we won't be able to turn the lights out on that Saturday. I don't know if there's a way you can change the date.
That'll add some suspense.
I think we'll understand. Could be a mystery in the dark.
It would be a real mystery then.
You know, but you know, that is a free event for the community. We're limited to 150 people to attend, but we still do have some tickets available. You can register online through our Eventbrite function that was created. It's linked with our Facebook page. So we do invite everybody from the community to attend. It is free. It's just bring your own food. We'll have tables set up for everybody to eat their dinners. And then we're also asking for donations for the food pantry, because the theme of the show is Murder at the Milan, which is a can show. And so we came up with the idea of having a fundraiser for the food pantry. So we ask that everybody bring a canned item. And that's it.
Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Boyle.
Debbie Boyle, Van Fleet. Mayor Nash, thank you for that proclamation.
Sure.
team, which consists of Nina Rohr, Stephanie Barfalvi, Shannon Jeffries, Ava Benjavanga, Pam Stefanik, Pat Sandus. We're hosting our 9th annual essay contest, which will go to the South Plainfield High School, to the English departments and the history. Also, anybody that lives in South Plainfield and goes to a different school is also eligible to apply. This year, we're doing our essay contest on Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We have a first place prize of $250, second place is $150, and then third is $100. We usually get between 20 and 30 applications for that essay, and then you're always gracious enough to let us present the gifts here.
Definitely.
At a future council meeting. Also, this Saturday, March 23rd, is the South Plainfield High School baseball used clothing drive, clothing and accessories. The truck will be across the street from the PAL behind the pool from 7 a.m. till 3. All the proceeds from that go to the South Plainfield High School baseball team. And that usually goes for their dinner and any extra equipment that they need. April 29th is the Taste South Plainfield at the Senior Center. Also, April 7th is the Mayor's Wellness Autism Awareness Event hosted by the Mayor's Wellness Committee. Flyer went out today. We have a doctor of childhood development from St. Peter's coming. Eddie Lynn, the awesome balloon person.
Yeah.
David Jeffersod, who is the administrator of Children's Hospital at St. Peter's. There's a couple other things. We'll have sensory projects for the students to do. We have a balloon release indoors like we did last year. And
Environmentally friendly balloon
yes.
release.
And we also will have the puzzle piece cookies. So if anybody would like to come out and visit, please do so. Please visit. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir. How are you? You can just give your name for. You need anything else, Amy?
309 Fifth Street. Good evening, Mayor. My wife spoke to you about Fifth Street. She had a complaint. Well, we had a complaint about we live close to the tracks on a dead-end street, and towards the end, it's open. It's wide open. On that street, there are kids that live there. I myself have two kids, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a safety concern with that opening there. My son, he's autistic, and he loves the trains. He goes towards the trains when they're passing by. He runs towards them. I always have him. I have control of him. I always hold on to him.
Right.
Until we go watch the train. On a few occasions, he escaped one time and ran towards the train. And I did not know if he was going to stop or not. Luckily, he did stop. But that is wide open. He could have fell in. Who knows what else could have happened. And also, it looks like people are gathering there, throwing trash.
It's a
are stopping by.
right away.
Dumping leaves and branches.
Yeah, we can block it off within the 50-foot
Mhm.
right-of-way of the street. I don't know what else, is on the outside of that. If it's wooded areas that you may still be able to walk through those wooded
Right.
areas. We have a 50-foot right-of-way there that we can block off.
Okay, we'll take a look at it, and as far as we'll take a look at the dumping over there, whatever else is going on, and see what we can address on that. We'll get back to you. Mr. Miller will take a look along with myself and the administrator.
Yeah, and also just another quick thing. There's not too much lighting at the end of that street. Light posts.
Okay. Yep, we can look into that.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we are going to close the public portion. We're going into executive session. Again, we have 2 items for executive session tonight, and we'll be back as soon as possible.